all the participant names in a list. Yeah. And then we'll come back to you, Christy, for your introduction. Is that okay?
Yes. Sorry, my dentist is trying to contact me, and I'm thinking, oh God, I better say yes, I'm coming tomorrow.
Don't want to be missing out on that appointment.
I know, because it's been a long time since I've been to the dentist, so I really do need to go tomorrow.
All right, so it looks like we've got everyone back in the main session now, so
You're doing
take it
that,
away.
Fantastic. Yeah, I just thought we'd come back. So thanks everyone. Hopefully that didn't give you too much of a headache going in and out of the little breakout room, and I hope you've at least had a chance to say hello to your partner. So what we'd like to do now is just go around the room, and if you can see the screen, we'll go in the order that's on there. So we'll start with Jess and then go down to Jen and on to Kimberly, Alex, and so on, and then up to Kate on the top right. So what we'd really like to hear from you is just your name, where you're from, a little bit about you, and what you hope to get out of the program, and then just a little shout out to your partner. So let's kick off with Jess.
So I'm Jess Knight. I'm from Stratford in Gippsland. I own a dairy farm with my husband and our 3 young boys. And off the farm, I sort of took on a few leadership roles. I'm on the Young Farmers Advisory Council and the Gips Dairy Board. So I guess I'm hoping to get out of it, developing my skills a little bit off farm, maybe taking a leap into starting a online business for rural women. And my partner is Sally Beer.
Fantastic. Thanks, Jess. Okay, let's hear from Jen.
Sorry, I'm having some not great internet today, so I'll keep my video off. Apologies. Okay. Yes, I'm in Tellerook. And I'm one of the executive directors that works on sort of supply chains and food systems. I live with my partner in an off-grid house that we own and built ourselves, which I'm very proud of. It took 5 years of weekends and no kids as yet. Something I'm hoping to get out of the program is, I think, as an organisation, Open Food Network has grown quite a lot in the last couple of years, and there's a much bigger role in supporting other people in their leadership journey and supporting other people in finding their in the team. So a lot of that is the stuff that weighs on my mind most heavily, like how to support others. So just trying to find better ways to do that, and also balance it with my own kind of tasks and work.
Thanks, Jen. We are losing you a bit, and then you come back. So we've persevered with you, but can't wait to hear a bit more from you throughout the year. And who was your partner? Sorry, Jen. Oh, I missed that one.
Rebecca Lovett.
Fantastic. Oh, that's so good. Thanks, Jen. Let's go to Kimberly.
I turned the microphone off. That'll work much better.
Can help.
Oh, that's all right. I was running late, so I apologise for jumping in late. So my name's Kimberly. I'm based in Bendigo, so somewhere around the middle. I have a degree in environmental management, which then led to me being part of an extension program in the VFF for a couple of years. Loved the extension program, loved the dealing with people. I am not a political person. I cannot deal with the agendas and things. So yeah, actually came back to my family business. They have an ag business. So yes, excuse the Massey Ferguson. I promise I still talk to other breeds as well. Yeah, so they've had that business for over 20 years. I've been involved for at least 15. But yeah, went back full time about 4 years ago, and am very excited for the last 3 years. I've actually been working to be an RTO, and just got the tick off to be a training organisation. So we'll focus on telehandler and tractor competency, just because compliance around that is getting tighter and tighter, and we all know how much everyone in ag loves compliance, and it's got nothing to do with ag, unfortunately. So I'm trying to make it as accessible as I can. I live with my partner, with my 4-legged children. You will often see Blue in many of these meetings, probably because she goes where I go, pretty much. And yeah, I'm hopeful to get out of the program is just some perspective. Everyone's got a little bit of a different idea on how to approach things, which makes it accessible to the people they know. So if I can apply it to what I'm doing and make everything I do as accessible as possible, that will be, yeah, what I'm aiming for, really. And also I've got to tackle the funding world, but I'm a little bit scared. So, and my partner is Lynn.
Fantastic. There we go. There's the wave. Lovely. Thank you. Oh, it's so exciting hearing all your voices and stories, but we've got a few more to get through. So let's keep moving with Alex.
Hello. Yeah, I'm Alex. I'm based
Alex, you're a bit roboty. Do you want to try and turn off your camera?
Between the penguins and the prom. I grew up actually on a property. Oh, I'll try without my camera. So yeah, I actually grew up on a property in the Macedon Ranges, just a small beef and sheep. My master's up in Victoria over the last almost 5 years now, in invasive plants and animals. So working with a team down in West Gippsland. I live with my boyfriend down in Inverloch, and yeah, we're just hoping to sort of move and continue and grow a bit of a agricultural production system of our own. That's sort of the goal. But something that I really hope to get out of the program is just a bit of networking, meeting new people and getting new perspectives, and also building some skills in other areas that I haven't had the opportunity to yet. So community engagement is something that I'm really excited about and really interested in. And I think Kate, who's my partner, has got a lot of experience in that space. So I'm really excited to work with her and to learn a bit from her as well. So that's me. Thanks.
Fantastic. Thank you. And that worked much better once the camera went off. So it was nice to at least see your face to start with. Thank you. Karen.
Hello, my name's Karen Edwards. I live in Benalla and work at the Dookie campus of University of Melbourne. So that's my career as a lecturer here. I live with my partner and my 2 children and his 3 children, and they're all children who are coming and going all the time. So we have a pretty busy household trying to keep track of everyone, but they're all teenagers now. So they're getting more and more independent, which is lovely. I am studying part-time as well. I'm currently undertaking a master's. And something I hope to get out of the program is the networking, and just being in this virtual room today, looking at all these wonderful women. I'm excited to meet you all and excited to hear your stories. So that's certainly hitting the ticking the boxes already, which is great. And probably a bit around career, where I'm going, what I'm doing, all the big questions, which might be related to the big milestone birthday I have this year. Who knows? And my partner is Prue Rothwell.
Fantastic. Thanks, Karen. Great overview. And yeah, like you, it's lovely to see everyone here today. Let's hear from Donna.
Hello all. So my name's Donna. I work for Gibbs Dairy. We're based in Warrigal and I live about half an hour out of Warrigal on the way to Leongatha in the hills. I've worked in the dairy industry most of my career. I have a husband, daughter and 2 grandchildren who are a lot of great fun. I'm hoping to just make some really good connections throughout this program and get to know Cherie really well. So Cherie's my partner.
Great. Good job. Thanks, Donna. Excellent. And Beck? Where's Rebecca?
Hi, my
It's all
name's
moved around on our
Beck.
screen.
I'm from Dedarang up in northeast Victoria. I work as an agronomist up here, working mainly with dairy farmers and beef farmers. I've got 2 young kids and a husband, and we live on a farm up there as well. So it keeps us very, very busy. And yeah, we love our animals and love our life and love being outside. But I'm very, very excited to be able to get more out of this program in the industry that I'm based, and hopefully I can facilitate it back to my clients as well as our own farm and what we want to achieve in the future. My partner is Alison Gunn.
Great. Thanks, Beck. That's fantastic. Very exciting to hear from you. Now, Kate, is Kate on the line, or was she remaining in apology, Lara?
Kate's not on the line, but we've missed Rebecca.
No.
We've got 2 Becks, which might make things a bit confusing.
Oh, sorry. There we go.
Yeah. Beck,
I'm
love
used
it.
to having 2 Sarahs in the team, so sorry about that.
I do answer to Beck as well, so, but anyway, we'll be fine. So yes, my name's Beck. I'm in Melbourne, so based in Northcote, and live with my husband and 2 children, a 15-year-old and 2-year-old, and my stepson is 13, is sort of with us every other week kind of thing. It's busy. I run my own consultancy, working with my business partner in the change and transformation space. And I guess that really connects to my passions around strengthening community and leading change and how that happens. So I guess that's what I'm here for. I'm really passionate about adult development in different contexts amidst life and all the crazy that goes on. So I'm excited about working with Jen Sheridan and sort of unpicking and then weaving together some of this stuff. Yeah, that's me.
Awesome. Thanks, Rebecca. Terrific. Okay, well, let's move down our next column and hope to catch up with Kate next time. So, Cherie.
Hi, my name is Cherie Fitzgerald. I'm based in a very small town just outside of Tatura, near Shepparton in northern Victoria. I currently work for Goulburn Murray Water, which is a rural water corporation. I've been there for about 14 years. Before that, I had a career with what was Department of Natural Resources and Environment, Department of Primary Industries, AgVic. So it's great to see there's a few names here that are ringing bells for me. I've really resonated with some of the comments that have already been said in terms of there's something you'd like to get out of it in terms of networks and connections and leadership and some skills and meeting some fabulous women. And my partner's Donna Gibson.
Excellent. Thanks, Cherie. Lovely to hear from you. Now, is it Ilse?
Ilsa.
Ilsa.
It's a hard one, I know.
That's a beautiful one. Thank you, Ilsa.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. So I'm Ilsa. We live in a small town north of Shepparton, Tulligarutna. A little bit about myself. So we've got 3 children. My background's nursing, but I'm at the other half who's in farming. So now we have a small broadacre cropping farm, but main business is a glass house. horticulture. So we grow just under 1 hectare in a glasshouse of basil, lettuce year round, and wombok in winter, and white asparagus in spring. So that keeps us busy. What I'd like to get out of the program is step up in leadership roles and managing. I'm a bit of a, like sometimes I'm too much of a worker, and I just need to learn to step back and manage the business instead and focus on things, that are that are around the business. I also like to get some more tips on funding and grant writing, because that's not my strongest point. And yeah, I'm just really excited to be part of this program. So yeah, thanks for the opportunity. And my partner is Marissa.
Oh, fantastic. Good job. Thank you. Thanks for sharing. Great. Yeah, I'm really interested now about the glass house and all the food. Sounds delicious. Is Alison on the line?
She's not on the line. I've messaged her to see if she'll be joining us.
Okay.
Alison's actually doing a workshop today. So I don't
All
think
right.
She won't be joining us then.
That's okay. Well, let's hear from Lynn.
Hi everyone. I live at Tallangatta, or approximately 8 kilometres east of Tallangatta. We have a small 300-acre farming property there, in which we've been for 30 years. Approximately 5 years ago, we started an intensive horticultural micro business, and we essentially supply our products right throughout northeast Victoria and southern Riverina. We also have a small flock of superfine merino sheep. My partner in this is Kimberly, so I'm really looking forward to working with Kimberly, and I'm really looking forward to improving our digital footprint for our business, and really looking at innovative technology and how we can integrate that into our business as well. I currently work full-time at Tallangatta Health Service as the Director of Clinical Operations, thanks essentially to the COVID. So I actually was working full-time at home, but when COVID struck, of course, our business dissolved over that period, because the hospitality industry dissolved as well. So really looking forward to learning lots and lots from everybody that's part of the program. So thank you for the opportunity.
Thanks, Lynn, and I like your picture too. I can see the microgreens coming through around you. Sally.
Hello, I'm Sally. I'm from Bendigo in Morong, and I'm originally from Denellicone, half a rice and mixed cropping farm, and I've been in Bendigo for the last 5 or 6 years. I've got a background in grain and trading and logistics, but now I really have a bit of a passion and an interest in livestock and genetics. I've always probably had that. I just sort of went down that grain path because it's all very interesting. I like to describe myself as a little bit of a jack of all trades, master of none. Now I have a different job, which is working as the agribusiness officer for the City of Greater Bendigo. It was really good because I sort of got to see like a real overview of a lot of different farming businesses and a lot of different challenges that sort of impact different businesses there. So that's really good. Something I hope to get out of the program is that I really want the opportunity to learn and work collaboratively with different people in the ag industry. And also we're probably at a stage with our farming business where we're at a setup stage. So again, like wanting to sort of see how other people are doing it. And my partner is Jess Knight.
Thanks, Sally. And we could get that. It was a bit noisy, but I think it's worth persevering just to hear your introduction. So thank you for that. Prue.
Hi there, everyone. I am based up in Smoko in the Northeast Alpine area. I originally grew up in a small town called Kattunga, half an hour north of Shepparton. So it's really nice hearing of Tallygarupna and Tachira and all those places that, I haven't been for many years, but I'm very familiar with. I work at Open Food Network as well, and I'm in a product coordinator role. And I've been with the organisation for a year now. I have a background in, I suppose, quite localised food systems. The farmers market sector is a sector that I've worked in for a number of years. And I've also just recently finished my Master of Food Systems and Gastronomy, where I did my thesis on the resilience of the farmers market sector. So that's just a bit about my background. I have only recently moved up to Smoko. I've started renting a loft off my parents. So I have brought my big puppy up here with me and am dealing with the family dynamics of what it means to kind of be 20 meters away from your parents. So that's been an interesting learning curve. Something that I'm hoping to get out of the program, I think just hearing all of the introductions today, it's made me excited for the networking opportunity and also networking within a different part of the food and farming sector that I've yet to work with. So really looking forward to hearing more about everyone. And my partner is Karen Edwards.
Thanks so much, Prue. Thanks for sharing your introduction with us today. And now Marissa.
Hi, I'm Marissa Sheehan. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yep.
You can, that's okay.
Yep.
I'm based in Tempe in the Mallee. I live on a dryland property with my husband and 3 girls. And I work as a land care facilitator in the southeast Mallee, and I look after 8 land care groups throughout that area. I'm looking at building my networking skills and learning new skills through this program, and it's a fantastic program, and I'm looking forward to learning about all of you. My partner is Elsa, and look forward to meeting Elsa more. And something that I do a lot of is grant writing, so that was something that Elsa mentioned. And a skill that I'm hoping to build also is networking and digital media for my work too.
Yeah. Fantastic. Thank you so much. Thanks everybody for sharing and your introductions with us and what you hope to get out of the program. There's lots of common themes and things that we can all learn from each other along the way, which will be really exciting as we go along. So now it is time. I'll hand over to Christy Howard, who will introduce herself as one of our facilitators for the program, and then she'll run through that those values activities. So I'll hand over to you, Christy. Let me know if the presentation's, yep, there it goes. You're driving.
Yep. I'm driving it. Excellent.
You're driving.
Thank you, everybody. You may have noticed that my photo that was up on the screen looks a little bit different from my photo these days. One of the things that happened during COVID is I stopped dyeing my hair, so definitely it's gone back to its natural colour now. So for those of you who don't know me, I live in Beechworth in northeast Victoria. I've been a consultant running my own business for the last 14 years. My main speciality is actually beef and sheep, particularly sheep reproduction. So I do a lot of work with farmer groups in the northeast and southern New South Wales, and that's how I know Lynn, because she was in a sheep group I ran many years ago. Apart from doing the sort of hands-on extension work, which I started doing 27 years ago when I joined the Department of Ag, I also do a lot of professional development with rural people So Cynthia and I run some online meeting training as well as face-to-face meeting training. And another sort of string to my bow is I do a lot of program evaluation. So evaluating these types of programs as well as the ones that Meat and Livestock Australia, Australian Wool Innovation and Agriculture Victoria run. And I do that remotely with partners from all over Victoria, but particularly farm economists from Hamilton, Lee Beattie, which some of you might have known. So that's a bit about me. Today, what we're going to do is we're going to do a brief 20-minute session on values. Now, this is a bit like how long's a piece of string. We can talk about values and what they mean for a very long time. But I hope that you've all got hold of the values exercise and how to go at it to create a little bit of interest in the topic before we even start. And the reason that I wanted to talk about values today is for a couple of different reasons. And the main one is that when you go into a mentoring relationship like we're going to do here, your values are really fundamental to the way you behave and the decision-making processes that you do. And so it's really important that we uncover those at the beginning of the mentoring relationship so that everybody understands what's important and what matters to the other person that they're working with. So as part of this, we're going to talk about how they shape our lives and especially decision-making. I'm going to give you a little bit of a snapshot into how values have shaped my life and some decisions I've made in my career. And then we're going to just finish up with having a bit of a discussion back in Zoom rooms about what we've learnt about our own values from doing the exercise. And if you haven't done the exercise already, then even just talking about what you've got out of this short presentation. So let's get straight into values and what they mean and what do I mean by them. So values are deeply held views that we often, of what we find worthwhile, and they fundamentally guide the way we behave and act, and often they're unconscious. So we haven't always brought them to the forefront. We don't always understand what our values are, but put into a difficult situation, they will kick into gear and they will drive the decisions that we make because we'll unconsciously use them to filter all the information we're getting and then say, okay, this is what I'm going to do based on my value system. So another really important aspect is that they're shaped throughout our lives. Initially, we get them from our upbringing with our parents, religion and school, from our peers, and then people we admire and also our culture. So they're constantly reworking our values as you change different stages of life. And generally what happens though is we maintain the same set of values. It's just that our top values change in priority. So for instance, and a really great example I like to use is when we have, as women, we have our own children, all of a sudden our family, our little, our children and our partner become our top value for a lot of people. And so therefore everything else is driven by, does this suit me and my family situation first, and then does it sit anywhere else in my values? And then as our children grow and they go off and do their own thing and people become empty nesters, then family is important, but then our own personal goals and values become more important than perhaps our children's our children's lives and actually interacting with them. And sometimes they don't. Sometimes people's values stay the same for their whole lives. So that's always really interesting. What I find most fascinating about values is that when they're unconscious and people aren't aware of them, this is often where we get conflict. So we'll often attract people that have got similar values, but we'll also attract people into our lives that have values that we don't hold because we perceive that we need those people in our lives. But then they also create our biggest conflict. So it's the whole opposites attract and then causing trouble as we go. So I want to talk about my own life and how values have really fundamentally driven the way I've made decisions in my life. And once I understood what my values were, I've really been able to use them to make positive change in my life. So this story starts when I was a PhD student at Melbourne Uni many years ago. So I grew up in the country around Kyneton. I grew up with very strong values about what farming meant. My parents were teachers with a farm, so I had this underlying value of education and how important education was, as also about community contribution. And so off I went to Melbourne Uni to do my Bachelor of Agriculture. And at the time, I was very interested, we had a sheep farm, I was very interested in wool classing, and I was also doing a wool classing certificate. Anyway, get to nearly the end of my degree, all set to be work in the wool industry, and we had a wool crash. And also at the same time, we had a bit of a downturn in the economy. So the career path I thought I was going to go on didn't happen. And instead, I re-enrolled at university in a PhD in the grains industry, doing biochemistry and like very early stage genetic studies of the barley grain. And so for 4 years, I hummed along in the Department of Biochemistry, so not even in the Department of Ag, and enjoyed that quite a lot. Sorry, who's just driven that? Was that you, Sally?
I was admitting, Kate.
Oh, right. Okay. Sorry, I'm just going to go back to my picture. So see if I can go backwards. Can I get... We're going forwards, not backwards.
Hello, ladies. Yeah, I've just come in from a farmery type meeting. I just need to move to another room.
Yep. So sorry, I'm just driving the presentation back to where it was. So anyway, I get to the end of my... Oh, goodness. This is fun, Sally, when you're driving the screen and it's got a delay. So I got to the end of my PhD and I was really conflicted because I was doing research in grains, laboratory-based research, but at the end of the day, it was actually not really where I wanted to be. And I saw this cartoon on a card in the university bookshop of this little lunatic man walking down the life he led and seeing the life he could have led. And that was like a light bulb moment for me. And it was a light bulb moment for many reasons. And one of them was it really highlighted to me that I was perhaps going in a direction with my career that wasn't necessarily going to satisfy me. So as much as I loved learning all about PCR, which is now, you know, everybody knows what a PCR is. It was really new tech. We were doing gene sequencing and really exciting things like that. At the end of the day, I wasn't doing what I wanted to do, and I was still living in the city when I really was a country person. I was doing lab science instead of field science, which is really what my reason why I got into agriculture in the first side. It was very theoretical. It was never going to solve a problem, a current problem in agriculture, whereas I really wanted to solve, you know, everyday on-farm problems that people were having. It was in cropping instead of sheep, which I found quite interesting. How did I end up there? And it wasn't that that my values had changed or anything. It was that I wasn't living them the way I thought I was going to. And so I was married at that time to my husband, and he was also a country boy, and we were living in North Melbourne, and we sat down, the two of us, and said, what do we actually want to do? And it was to get back out of Melbourne. But I think it was understanding what was really important to me, or my values, that really helped us make that huge decision. And I joined the Department of Ag. I started working in sheep again with prime lambs, and 27 years later, here I am. So it was actually a really good decision. But I don't think it would have been as easy to make if I hadn't really sat down and thought about what was important to me and how do I actually live what's important to me. So moving on from that experience, what I want you to think about going into this mentoring relationship is not only what are your values and being really upfront with understanding what they are and how they drive decision making, but also working out how am I actually going to live them. So I could have a value of community contribution, for instance, but if I'm not actually doing any community contribution, that's actually going to sit really uncomfortably with me, and it's actually I'm actually not going to be very happy around that. And what we find when you're living your values, you get some really great signs that it's actually happening for you, in that you've got energy, motivation, and inspiration for what you're doing. So that's a really good sign that you're actually living your fundamental values. And it's the classic, life is good, hashtag living my best life. When you're not living your values, what you find is that you're demotivated, you have no energy, and you're quite uninspired. And you feel like life is the hamster wheel. And so if you've ever had those feelings of life is the hamster wheel, that's a really good indication that somewhere along the track, you've lost sight of what your values are and you aren't actually living them in a way that's actually bringing you energy, motivation, and inspiration. So what do we do to actually really uncover and live our values? So the first step is to do the values activity that I've given you. This is quite a simple one, and what it actually highlights is things that you aspire, your actual values that you aspire to live. The next challenge is to do a more complex activity, which is one by John DeMartini, and that link, Sarah, if we can send that link out to people so they can have a go themselves. It's a great activity to uncover how you're actually living your values. Where are you spending your time? What are you surrounding yourself with? So I highly recommend you do that. And the great thing about his website is it tracks your values over time. So you can log in another 2 years' time, do the same activity and see how it's shifted. So that's a really great thing to do. So once we uncover them, then we identify what helps you to live your values, and we're going to do that in a little exercise. And at the end of the day, there's something that we need to review every 2 or 3 years. I think it's really worthwhile to actually review your values. So Sarah, can we stop sharing the screen? Can we go back to seeing everybody in tiles? Is that possible? Yep. Ah, look there, I can see everybody's faces. How lovely. So that's a really quick 10 minutes of values. What I want you to do is we're going to put you into your Zoom rooms again, and I want you to have a chat with your partner. So it'll be the same partner that you had before. Is that how we're going to do it?
Yes, I'm just going to do a little bit of a rejig because we've got a couple.
We've got a couple of people that have it out. Yep.
Yeah.
So you tell me when you're ready, but I'll just explain the activity. So what I want you to do is, if you have done your values activity, and applaud all of those who have, I want you to talk about what your top 3 values actually came out as with your partner. Then I want you to think about, okay, so how do I, what sort of signs have I got that I'm actually living these values in my life? Do I have that joy in life, or actually do I feel like I'm living a bit on the hamster wheel? And compare, also, the other thing that's really important is, are your values, do you think your values are being served by your career or your farm that you're working on? Do those 2 value systems actually match up? And think about how the mentoring might actually help you to live your values a little bit more. So have you got good things for conversation, you think? So if you want to know so we're basically following the step 3 on the back of the values page. So is there any questions before we go into our Zoom rooms?
All right, no? Christy, I think I've got everyone organised. So everyone whose partner is still here, you'll be put into the room with your partner. And I think it looks like Karen, Beck and Cherie, your partners have a couple of them have had to disappear. So I'm going to put you in a 3 together, if that's all right.
Yep. So you're going to have 5 minutes, and then we'll come back and we'll have a couple of quick points of clarification or sharings from people, and then for whoever it is that has to go at 1 o'clock, this session will finish at 1, and then we'll have Cynthia in as well. Okay, so
awesome. All right,
let's go, Pip.
I'm going to open the rooms now. Hopefully everyone ends up where they're supposed to be. All right, looks like people are moving.
Marissa,
you can see them all like dropping off one by one, peeling off one by one.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. Well done.
All right, I think. Yep. So no one's sitting in a room by themselves this time, so that's an improvement.
Yep. So we'll give them 4 minutes and then get them out of the room. So do you want me to keep track of the time?
Oh, that's fine. I can, because you're running pretty bang on anyway.
I like to run bang on time.
You do. It's good. Yeah, it's probably good that we got you first. And then
yes.
Cynthia will just,
we'll have to pull
see how she goes.
We always
Depends how many people have other engagements at 1:30 that they all have to rush off to.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good. That's good. We got a good turn up today.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I knew Alison was at a workshop today because I'm supposed to be interviewing her for another project at 3:30. So that's how I knew she wasn't available. And I was surprised she didn't send you an apology. Yeah.
No, she didn't. But I think when we changed the date, something might have been missed. So because I think she'd come back and said she was otherwise available for the Friday, but
yeah,
that's okay.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, we've done. I think this is like we've got a pretty great turnout.
No, it's good. It's good, and yeah, some interesting women with some interesting stories. I think our mentoring sessions are going to go really well.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah,
and so nice to hear that they're enjoying hearing the mix of people in the program as well.
Yeah,
which is really
good. Yeah, and just to let you know, Synth and I caught up with Penny Shaw the other day. So that was really good. So that gave us sort of a bit more understanding of some of the challenges and some of the things that have worked really well for the young farmers, for the facilitators of the young farmers. So yeah, so it's given us a bit more of a picture of how we're going to tackle it when we start. So,
and they're a real mix, the facilitators, aren't they, Sarah? Like different disciplines and sections of the industry and
Yep.
It's awesome. Yeah, they are.
No, she said, Penny said basically that the biggest challenge that a lot of the facilitators have had is that they're not necessarily coaches, and so the temptation to be consultants comes in, whereas that's definitely won't be an issue for Synth and I because we're used to being coaches.
Yeah,
we're used to
know how to hold the silence.
We don't have the answer. That's your job. You can think about that.
I wonder how, I'm interested to see how comfortably that sits with the participants, how quick they are to, because they're all like smart, you know, problem solving strategic thinkers, how much the temptation is to sort of jump in and give their partner the answers.
Yes. So it's definitely something we're going to be working on in the first session about listening and powerful questions.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, so I'll do that little exercise. So I've got 3 out of my 4 pairs are already scheduled for the week starting the 22nd. So we'll do our first session. But I don't think Synth is able to start hers until the start of April. So
yeah. Okay.
How are we going for time?
All right, I've got the 60 seconds, so they'll be brought back.
I'll pop in
60 seconds now, 50 something.
So I'll just keep getting popcorn answers from them until Cynthia comes on board, okay? And then we'll hand over to her. Yep. So that'll.
Yeah, I hope our previous session's running on time. It's tricky back to back, isn't it?
It is. So yeah, I'll just fill the gap until she comes in. Don't worry about that. I can do that.
There'll be something to say, I'm sure.
Well, and there's lessons in this stuff too. So like sharing them collectively is beneficial. So.
Yeah. So I think I'll do the wonderful popcorn technique. Do you all
love that? Anything that when popcorn comes up in a meeting, I'm on board.
Yeah.
Normally I'd have a little, it's about my popcorn snack time actually.
Yeah, all right. Now my daughter was making popcorn last night actually. I noticed little bags of popcorn on the bench this morning when I got up. Snack food for school. I can see that you've been busy.
Love it.
Well done.
I've discovered salt and vinegar popcorn, which is going to be dangerous.
Oh, I didn't know such a thing existed. There you go.
Neither did I. It's a slippery slope.
Welcome everybody back from your Zoom rooms. I'll just wait for everybody to come on. If your bandwidth allows, please turn your camera on because it's really nice to see people when they're speaking. Also, it means that I can see your hand or if you've got a question, you might be doing this or putting your hand up in general. So what I would like to find out from you now that you're back in the room is what came up in your discussion about values. Does somebody want to share?
I'll just say you guys did really well matching up between Lynn and I. I'm really quite impressed. It was something I was like, how on earth are they going to do it? But you've done it well.
Oh, thank you. So what came up about in your discussion about values, Kimberly?
Oh, it was more just, it was more our approach to the discussion more than anything. Would you agree, Lynn? Just in that we look at different perspectives, but like to have, well, security in life and all that sort of thing as well. Whilst, yes, we want to go and do that over there, but we need to do this so we can keep doing that over there.
Yeah, Good. What about you, Lynn? What anything in particular about values, the discussion that resonated with you?
Well, Kimberly and I both confessed to one another that we hadn't done the exercise.
That says something about your values straight away.
Well, we
So
both
honesty is important.
We both remembered this morning that we had to do it, and then life got in the way. And so we recognised that we were a bit of a kindred spirit in that way. And I suppose it probably indicates we're a little bit of fly by the seat of our pants people too. But having said that, no, we talked about where we're at this point in time and how we've got to this point, considering, I guess, what our family background is. So, no, it was great. We really enjoyed it.
Great. Okay, thank you. Jen, you've got your hand up. Do you want to say something?
Yeah, I was just going to share sort of.
Oh, we can't hear you.
Some of our reflections on it as well. I was with Rebecca. Oh, am I coming through with too much of a lag?
Yeah, we can't.
And we can hear you. It is just a bit laggy.
Maybe Rebecca might like to share.
I think Rebecca might have just jumped off to
off.
attend another meeting.
Okay. Anybody else want to jump in with something that they discussed about values? Especially if they've done the activity and they'd identified their top 3.
Kate here.
Yep.
So Alex, did you want to talk about our discussion?
Yeah, absolutely. So I got 10 values. I struggled to get 10. I sort of had about 20 written down, but I felt like the 3 that I chose, I was able to sort of, every one of the 20 that I'd written down, I was able to bring those values into my core 3. So they were close relationships, community, and creativity. I felt like you can sort of, I had adventure written down as one of my top 10. So I thought that sort of comes in with creativity and that sort of thing. So Kate and I just had a brief discussion about my values, and then Kate actually said that she also feels that creativity is one of her core values as well.
So Alex, how do you know you're living? What are the signs that you're living your creativity value?
Well, thinking about it now, I'm feeling like maybe I'm not living it to my full extent. So it was really interesting for me to identify, creativity is something that I'm really passionate about. And it's lacking probably mostly from my professional life. Like I try to bring it into my personal life in maybe what I'm wearing, but definitely lacking from my my professional life.
Yeah. And see, and I find that really interesting because like creativity is one of my high values as well. It's not my top 3, but it's up there. And definitely if I'm not able to be creative in my work, like so I'm not designing something new or I'm not creating a new idea, then I've actually got to find it in my personal life. And so I've got a bit of a art habit, and my children can tell if my work's been frustrating because otherwise all of a sudden all my art gear is all out all over the place, because I've got to address the creativity in another way. Yeah,
that's brilliant.
Yeah, so it's really interesting for you to think that sometimes your workplace might not meet your value, and for whatever reason you've got to actually meet the value somewhere else. And then, but when you meet it somewhere else, you can then take it back to the workplace, and it'll actually enhance what's going on. So I find this whole discussion of values it's one we don't have very often. Like it's those things that's got to sit under the radar all the time. But when you actually bring it out, it actually brings you a lot of joy and satisfaction to talk about what your values are. So for you, Kate, what did the conversation highlight for you?
Well, it was interesting. Sort of the conversation was Alexandra's progression to reconcile her list, and what I found interesting was we both selected creativity.
Yeah.
And that's again that's a link showing how well you ladies have selected the pairs. And I think it really, we're so busy in our own lives. It's forces everyone to sit and really think about what's core and what's key.
Yeah.
And I think if you've got that creative bent, that you've got to address creativity might be not actually getting the art easel out and making some and painting, but for me, creativity is being creative fencing or being creative breaking in a dog or horse. Like you don't follow, you just do something a little bit different. And so in my work life, if I can't address those creativity as in sitting down and getting in front of the sewing machine, I make my work creative or try to the frustration of my bosses. But yes.
Yeah, great. Thank you. Well, I can see Synth has joined us, so I'm going to draw our conversation to a close so that we don't eat into her time. But I really encourage you, if you hadn't had a chance to do the values exercise, get on and do it before your first mentoring session. Definitely those of you who are paired with me as your facilitator, we're going to talk about values in our very first session. So you actually have to have done the exercise, please. And I will get Sarah to make sure that you've got that link to Dr. John DeMartini's, because that if you're really interested in values, he's just the guru on values. He's got a great book called The Values Factor, and once you sort of get into it, you realize how fundamental they are to the way we operate and the way we make decisions in our life and the satisfaction we get from our life. So thanks very much. Synth, over to you for above and below the line behaviours.
Hello everyone, and deep apologies for being late. I double booked myself because I took responsibility for my own calendar, which I should never do because I have a business manager who is awesome at that, and I totally stuffed up. So I am late, and I also have a little friend here with me, Alfie, who's scratching at me. So sorry everyone, you may hear him whining because he's a little bit needy at the moment. Alfred Gary Ablett Marnie. So it is so wonderful to be one of your mentors with Christy in this program. And just a bit of background, I know some of you, so it's really lovely to see your faces, Marissa, Karen, who else have I got? Sally, so lovely to see you. And a bit of background to me, I was with the Department of Ag for 17 years and in a range of roles in extension and facilitation. And I left about 10 years ago to start my own business because I was really interested in helping people get the best out of themselves and using coaching and facilitation, mentoring, speaking and authoring to do that. So I've just written my first book, Sarah. Just got to do it. Thanks, Sally. Cultivate How Neuroscience and Wellbeing Support Rural Leaders to Thrive. So that's a lot of my IP in there about using brain science to really help with getting the best out of ourselves and out of our teams. So one of the things that I wanted to talk to you about today was, good on you, Jess. Jess just held up the book. Good on you. So one of the things that I wanted to talk to you about was the importance of trust and safety in relationships and in the relationship that you'll have with Christy and myself and the Rural Women's Network team, and also between each other as well. So I wanted to spend a little bit of time talking through, and some of you have been in some of my programs before, so you'll be well aware of the above and below the line behaviours. But one of the things that Brene Brown says is that clear is kind and unclear is unkind. And so the more explicit that we can be about our expectations with each other, the kinder it actually is to each other. And that that often we feel resentful when we haven't enforced our boundaries. So we haven't spoken our needs, and then someone else violates that unspoken need, but we get cranky with them. But actually it's on us because we haven't articulated that, and we think that they need to be mind readers. So in this relationship that you've got with each other, there's going to be things that you think are okay and things that you think perhaps aren't okay. Often things that get in the way are, I find with groups, for example, not that you're in a group here, but the typical one, some people need to see the notes or the minutes or the agenda 3 weeks beforehand, whereas someone like me could get it on the morning and I'd be quite happy with that. So if I'm in charge of sending out the minutes or the notes and I don't think about that, then I can really annoy a lot of people very easily and not be aware of it. So what we wanted to do today was just give you the opportunity to have a conversation and to have a chat with each other about the behaviours that you would like to see in the mentoring relationship. One of them is going to be that Chatham House rule where you welcome, did you cover that, Christy, at the beginning?
No, haven't.
The Chatham House rule, great. So that's a really typical one that we want to set up for you right now. And that Chatham House rule is that we totally want you to go and talk about things that you discuss in your mentoring relationship and in groups like this, but just probably, you know, you might say, I had a conversation the other day and it was great, but you just wouldn't say, I had the conversation with Sally. Sally told me this. Sally told me this. You just say, I had a really great conversation with someone the other day and I learned this because they shared this story with me. And that the thing that does is it gives us a certain amount of safety, and that then means that we've got trust with each other, and we're going to be more open in the conversations that we have together. And we want you to be really open, because by putting in and sharing all the knowledge that you've got, that's going to help you, but it's going to help your partner as well. So I'll share my screen about some of these behaviours. So what we're trying to do is, what I find is that in your mentoring relationship, it would be really easy to get into what are we going to do, and why we do it. You've already kind of done that by applying for the program. But what we don't talk about, and where a lot of teams come unstuck, is that we don't talk about how we're going to work together, setting up the expectations and the boundaries. So we get stuck into the work, and then we find that we're not very efficient because we keep coming back into, we actually haven't chatted about the expectations we've got of each other and how we want to work together. Now, Christy, just something I'm interested in, the pairs that are here today, because I haven't kind of seen everyone, have you broken into pairs to have a chat about mentoring pairs?
Yeah, so we're in pairs at the beginning,
Yeah.
and then we just did pairs in my exercise to talk about values, and so Sarah could stick us into pairs again.
Yeah, Sarah, if you can stick people into their mentoring pairs if it's possible.
That's what we've been
doing. So I've got we've had a few people
it,
drop off since just with 1 o'clock commitments. So I've rejigged again. So Jen and Karen, you are going to be our odd pair this time. Everyone else who's here still with their mentoring buddy. So you just give me the thumbs up when you want me to open the rooms. Thanks, and we'll do it.
Thanks, Pip. Okay, so this above and below the line behaviour is really awesome because it's about the line of choice. It's saying that we choose our behaviour at any one time. So, and articulating, so for you thinking about what's going to be some of the behaviours like asking, listening, sharing, learning, changing, that's a very proactive, very above the line set of behaviours. But below the line is where you're kind of a victim. So it's like, oh, you know, I can't help it. They're really they, them, blah, blah, blah. And so denying, deferring, criticising, justifying, blaming are kind of some of those below the line behaviours. So you might think one of the behaviours that I don't want to see in our mentoring partnership is that if I've given some advice that someone gets defensive. That might be, if we can try and not be defensive, that we can accept the feedback with grace and say, thank you for that gold, rather than that's never going to work and I tried that and so some of the above below the line behaviours is, and this is going to be important in your mentoring relationships, that because we want you to try things, we want you to take action. So seeing it, owning it, solving it, doing it, keep doing it. And then some of the other, the below the lines are, you know, tell me what to do because I have no agency. covering your ass, ignoring and denying, it's not my job, wait and see, finger pointing and blaming. So just these were some examples of norms that that I had for a team that were really good. So rather than having one word that doesn't mean much, integrity means we only say things about fellow employees we would say to their faces. Trust, I really like this one. We build trust by being selfless in giving feedback to our colleagues, even if it is uncomfortable to do so. So this is the clear is kind, unclear is unkind. Feedback's a continuous part of how we communicate and work with each other versus an occasional formal exercise. So I can imagine that for your mentoring pairs, it would be really great to think that you could be selfless in giving feedback even when it's uncomfortable to do so, for example. So if you can pop people in a group, in a pair now, Pip, and the thing that I just want you to talk about is just identifying, for you to work really well together, what are your expectations? What are going to be those above the line? What do you want to see? What's okay and what's not okay?
Everyone, I'm opening the rooms now.
Okay. And I'll broadcast those questions again. So I'm just going to give you 6 minutes to have an initial chat.
Marissa seems stuck.
Hmm.
There we
Oh,
go.
there she goes.
It's got to be the delay. Beautiful entry there, Cyn.
Yeah, well done. Hit the ground running.
Seamlessly managed too, Christy.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks, Christy.
Your session went well, Cyn?
Oh, it went so well.
Good.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, they've got 400 people in that federal drought mentoring program.
Wow.
400.
That's crazy.
Yeah, good.
Who's
Was
running
Catherine
it?
Marriott there?
I don't think she was. I didn't have a chance to look through everyone. I mean, there
Don't
weren't
know how
400.
she'd be fitting it in, to be honest. So.
Yeah, there weren't 400 on the call at all, but yeah, yeah. It's
What's
just
your role, Cyn?
I was just a guest speaker today.
Oh, good. Yeah, awesome.
Participating in a Q&A.
So, Cyn, who's coordinating it all?
So Marie McPherson is running from Gippsland, she runs sessions for the mentors and mentees and yeah, it's interviews, providing resources. She's like a support.
Who's running the whole program though?
The Australian Rural Leadership Foundation.
Ah, okay, yeah.
They've kind of got nodes, don't they, across regions?
I think so. Yeah. Yeah,
it's a good model.
Pretty yeah, imagine the impact though of that 400. That's a good critical mass.
So what is the role of those 400? What have they got to go and do?
Yeah, mentor mentee. So
Okay.
it's rural leadership. So it's not necessarily farming. It's all sectors, I think. But I think a lot of obviously agriculture.
Yep. Yeah, I think I read about that. Must have seen it on some drought. Is it part of the drought hub?
Yeah.
Yep.
It's the Drought Resilience Mentoring Program.
Yep. Interesting.
Cool. Now, okay. So time-wise, so now so we'll just do a little bit of a popcorn.
Yep.
And then
yeah, because you really don't have much time since with the
because we want to.
And then I'll do.
Wrap up.
I feel I will. I am my lunch, and then over
to jump off pretty promptly at 1:32.
Yep. So who am I handing to after I do my little bit?
Sarah?
I reckon just keep. Yeah, you can do that. We were going to have a few minutes for questions, but I don't know that we're really going to get time. That's all. If it's 1:22 now.
People can stay online if they want to ask.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's do that. So since wrap up and then just say stick around. If anyone's got any burning questions, welcome to stick around for
Yeah, so
5.
I've got the breakout rooms coming back in about 45 seconds now. So
I'll let them know.
Okay. I think it flashes up in there.
Flashes up, yep.
Lets them know.
Some people jump out early.
Yeah, I think a few people have gone 2, 4, 6, 8. There's 9 on now, whereas there were 15, I think, when I got here.
Yeah.
Quite a few had to finish
1
up at 1, I think, which is a bugger.
Yep.
Good learning though.
Alfie's
They
just
like
whining.
their hour.
Alfie's scratching my tummy, jumping up and going with his long nails.
That's very annoying.
Is that better or worse than scratching the couch?
That's much better than scratching the couch.
That's what my little fur child's been doing today.
Scratching the couch.
Ouch, Alfred, stop it.
Mine just sits outside the door closest to where I am.
Oh, I need some of your training, I think.
Yeah, that's outside the house.
Yeah.
Not inside the
We're
house.
just talking our pets, everyone, and their little foibles.
Our fur babies. Yeah.
So now, look, for a lot of you, that was total whirlwind. So you wouldn't have even got an opportunity probably to get one thing out. But this is where we will be headed to in our session. So just as you've, with Christy and myself, you'll talk a bit more about your values. So again, this sort of what are my expectations and what's okay are related back to your values as well, and being able to share them. So there's really good self-awareness about this, but also in sharing with each other. Does anyone just have 1 or 2 things that they shared in their group?
Lynn.
So Kimberly and I, we shared a few things actually. So ours was around giving each other equal time, being accountable for what we do and what we say. If we're going to do something, we'll do it. So we're doing our values exercise this weekend, Christy.
Good.
We've made a deal.
To be honest and authentic, be empathetic, active listeners, and be accepting and not judgmental.
Oh my goodness, that is so efficient. Unbelievable.
I'm going to love working with these two. That's going to be fun.
Okay, Kate.
Hello.
Hi.
So Alexander had to leave, and so she just posted a little message. So between the two of us, Alex clearly conveyed that she benefits from positive feedback and constructive criticism. And so she looks forward to that behaviour being demonstrated. And I suggested that both of us can to each other convey clearly the message. So much can be lost in communication, particularly working in this environment, and emails. Yeah, like there's so much other non-verbal communication that's lost, and so we just have to be so focused and be clear or reinforce the message to make sure it's that your message you want to convey is the one that's heard. And finally was professional courtesy. Everyone's busy. If we've made a time to meet, but you can't make it, well, even if it's 5 minutes before, just contact each other. Yeah. So that was it. So thank you.
Oh, that's terrific. Thank you. And I think something was coming up for me when you were talking about, oh, it's gone now. It is gone. It's just a little bird flitted across my brain. I'll come back to it. Ilsa, is it Ilsa?
Ilsa, yes.
Ilsa. Ilsa, what were you going to say?
Oh, no, so I was just talking to my other half walked in the room, sorry.
No worries. Well,
but I agree with the values, with the values that have just been discussed. I think they're really important in working together as a team.
Yeah, and just to keep talking, so, we'll put little review points in as well. How's this relationship working? Is it working for both parties? What could we do to make it a 10 out of 10? Where is it at the moment? So that was just the start of the conversation, and we'll be continuing that in our groups. Now, one thing that I want to do, the last thing before we head off today, is I would like everyone to, I'm going to go around the room. So the room for me now is Sally, Ilsa, Kimberly first. And I would like you to finish one of these sentences about today, how you're feeling, or what's happened for you in this session. I think, or I feel, or I will, or I am, or I learnt. Okay, I've just put it in the chat. So, Sally, if we could start with you about your experience of our session today.
I will immediately fix my audio interference. No, I'm not. I'm just kidding. But I will do that. But I think that I really enjoyed. Hang on. I will focus on. I will focus on preparing for my first meeting with Christy Howard. I'm looking forward to working together with my partner. I think we've got some really strong alignment, and I'm looking forward to seeing where I am in 12 months' time compared to where I am now.
Thanks, Sally. Ilsa, I think, or I feel, or I will, or I am, or I learnt, and then Kimberly, and then Kate.
I feel excited about the opportunity given today, and I feel confident that I will make the most out of this exercise for the future months to come.
Thanks. Kimberly.
Sorry, I've just got a dog going nuts in the background too, so apologies. I think I'm a lot more excited. I was already excited, but I think I'm excited for what's to come. I feel like I might actually be able to give something to my partner as well, which is very reassuring. I was a bit nervous about that bit. And yeah, I will do my best. Obviously, we'll make all the appointments, but to reach out and even make ones in our own time as well to get the most out of it. And I'm excited. I'm just excited.
So good. I'm so pleased. That's terrific. Kate, then Jen.
Well, hello. So for me, I'm really looking forward to moving through this program and just being part of the development of this this cohort of young rural women. I think you've all got the most amazing things to offer agriculture, and it's just really, it's going to be great to be part of that. Just the part of the program and being part of the development is excellent. Thank you.
Fabulous, Kate. Jen, then Marissa. Hello, Marissa.
Cynthia. I think I need to put some structure to this for myself. I think that, I suppose maybe it's in reaction to I'm feeling a little bit daunted by how to make the most of the opportunity and contribute as much as I'd like to. And so I think I need to give myself some structure around that.
Great self-awareness, Jen. Thank you. Marissa, then Karen.
I'm also really excited about this program and excited to be involved. And Elsa and I, we've got a lot of similarities, and it's amazing to how the program's worked out and how we've been matched. It's and same, I need a bit more structure. I didn't finish the values. I didn't get that done, so I'll get that done this week.
Great.
And finally, Karen.
I learned there are great women out there in regional Australia, and I'm very excited to connect with my partner.
Fabulous. Thank you so much, everyone. I will now hand over to Sarah, Pip, Lara.
The team.
The team. Thanks, team.
Thanks, Cynthia. Well done and great session, everybody. Thanks for your contributions. We have just hit time, but if there's anyone with a burning question, feel free to stick around and have that answered. Otherwise, that's it for today. Keep your eyes peeled on emails, and good luck with your first sessions. We really can't wait to hear how it all goes. So good luck and have fun. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks. Yeah, Christy and I we'll hang around just for a couple of minutes if anyone wants to chat about anything. Anyone?
Oh, must have just overwhelmed the maybe sense.
Marissa or Ilsa, have you got any questions or things that you want to chat about?
No, I think I'll just take it all in and have a think about it and go from there.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, though.
Well, and both of you have got your invitation for our first session on the 22nd, 2 p.m.
Yes.
Yep, great.
I have. Yeah, thank you.
Yep.
Nice to see you, Cynth.
Great to see you, Marissa.
Bye.
Bye.
See ya.
Awesome.
See ya.
Bye, guys.
Well done, ladies. What a great bunch.
They're going to be great. They're going to be good fun to work with. I'm looking forward to it.
I think it's a good sign when they there's probably a little bit of overwhelm, but mostly excitement, which is nice.
Yeah, there was definitely a lot of excitement. It was nice to hear some initial feedback that they felt they'd been well matched.
Yeah,
that was a relief when we're, like, oh,
probably Kimberly and
really
Lynn were a bit of a wild card match, so that's great that they feel like
they've already connected. I'm
loving it. I actually have to sneak off to my next meeting, but thank you all. That was fantastic, and we'll chat again the next little while.
Yeah. Okay.
Thanks, Lara.
Bye,
Thanks,
everybody.
all right.
Bye.
No worries.
See ya. We all going.
I think we're
yeah, you can
Thanks,
go and give
everyone.
Alfie all the attention he needs, quite clearly.
See ya.
See ya.
Bye, guys.